was a place where pure power decides everything. And there are moments when fate throws little fighters into the jaws of giants. Yet every now and then, those little guys prove they're not to be messed with. Like true movie heroes, they take down enemies that once seemed unbeatable. In this video, you'll see real-life showdowns where Davids don't just defeat Goliaths, they take their very souls. This is Boxing Game, here we go. Julius Long, a towering giant who took pleasure in taunting his opponents, always picking smaller fighters to brutally dismantle in the ring. But then came Haye, the fearless fighter who dared to challenge the towering scoundrel.
We're underway.
The entire audience was supporting Haye, but as soon as the fight began, their hopes were shattered.
Predictable there. He's starting to walk in and do the same thing. It's more of a push now. It's more of a push.
Long was brutally beating the helpless Haye like a child, and to make matters worse, he trampled on his opponent's honor with utter disrespect.
Get some success from there tonight.
Then, the small warrior summoned every ounce of strength and initiated the giant's destruction.
Work out of there. Uppercut left, fine side of the referee. There's that left hook again. That one won't with him.
The bull was cornered, and Haye turned him into a punching bag with no way out.
Just calling for him to step back. Nice work from Haye, starting to land.
He didn't take long. With one final blow, Haye beheaded the cocky giant, serving justice with brutal precision.
10 seconds to go in the round. There we go. He's down. He's down. Now once again, 17-0.
A wild powerhouse of destruction, Bob Sapp, all muscle and madness, faced off against none other than Tivadar Kunkley, the 47-year-old champion of the Retirement League. He was an old and small fighter, practically fed to the massive American like a sacrificial lamb. But the moment the bell rang, the tables turned. Grandpa wasn't there to survive. He was there to teach the big guy a lesson. Bob shook it off fast and began hitting hard enough to send the old man's memories scattering. Soon after, he showed the veteran he didn't belong in that ring. Recharged and fired up, the old warrior stormed back into the fight and taught Bob Sapp the golden rule: respect your elders or get a dad-style whooping. All the way to the end, the old man kept punishing the giant, breaking him down and breaking his pride in front of a roaring audience. In the end, the jock had nothing left to offer against the veteran and surrendered in disgrace. This fight was the very definition of David versus Goliath, a clash of courage against sheer size. In the beginning, it looked like the little guy had no hope against the massive Korean giant. But within seconds, he had the giant cornered, pounding him like a terrified rabbit. It didn't take long for David to show one timeless truth: the bigger the giant, the louder the crash. In this fight, an overpumped monster faced off against a humble young man. The tattooed pile of muscle was overflowing with confidence, even publicly humiliating the humble guy before the fight. He was sure it'd be easy, right up to the bitter end. As soon as the bell rang, his cocky grin disappeared, swept away like dust in a downpour. didn't just win, he dismantled the giant and left him permanently humbled. This was the clash of extremes, a Russian muscle freak on steroids versus an ordinary 18-year-old who was still shaking off his graduation cap.
By 35 pounds.
Now, that's going to be 33 pounds more than his opponent gets in the decision. So it could be a factor if this goes the distance.
Maybe the young fighter dreamed of proving himself by beating the biggest bully in the yard, but once the real punches started flying, that dream shattered fast.
In the black with the white trim.
Soltysek coming out like a fireball. Big right hands.
Velikov is a big man at 229 pounds, and he looks very...
The muscle freak went full predator, hammering the poor guy with monstrous force.
Soltysek does not have a traditional boxer stance. Tends to
serious damage.
You can see he throws kind of a clubbing left and right. Breathing heavy already. Looks like he may be a little bit fatigued. Whoa.
It seemed the little guy was doomed, but in a split second, he pulled off every teenager's dream. At the end of 2015, this exotic giant from Africa named Andrew Thompson got to feast on the chubby Ismail Lazar, although judging by the chubby one, it looked like he was the one planning to devour his opponent. Before the fight, Thompson was literally looking down on his high-calorie prey, and right after the bell, he landed a low kick to the chubby guy's head. But apparently Lazar, desperate for a win, wasted no time and launched his attack on the Titan, turning the ring into a torture chamber.
Oh my goodness! Oh, Ismail Lazar!
In this boxing match, David Haye faced Nikolai Valuev.
Okay, guys,
The little guy was up against a serious mountain. David was about to throw hands with the Russian Goliath himself.
See, David is the biggest puncher Valuev has faced.
As the bell rang, Haye made it clear he was on a mission, and he was giving it everything he had.
Haye нас интересует в меньшей степени. Постоянно по прессингу, психологическому. Дайте ему сходить за этим титулом и встречать.
David floated with grace like a butterfly, and with every strike he stung like a bee, making sure the giant never got a moment of rest.
С другой стороны, и слишком рьяно занят.
Despite a barrage of 100 punches from the tiny fighter, the giant remained as unbreakable as a mountain. The giant's strikes were few, but each one held the promise of doom.
Читаемо. Николай Valuev перекрылся. Но это мы все увидим, наверное, раунда 7-8.
Meanwhile, David had already mapped out the path to victory.
Там страшного не было, так просто показалось, что...
Throughout the long fight, he wore the giant down, countering every blow from Nikolai with 10 of his own.
Ближе подходить. Рисковать. В этой водичке-то и нужно было попытаться.
As the final minutes ticked down, Haye unleashed a brutal combo, shaking the giant's knees with every blow.
Конечно, хоронить нельзя ни в коем случае Николая.
It's hard to imagine, but the giant somehow made it through the fight, surviving only by the grace of luck. Meanwhile, the small David seized the sweet victory with unwavering confidence.
David Haye is the WBA heavyweight champion of the world!
This red-haired dwarf boldly stepped into the ring to face a guy 3 times his size. Everyone thought he was nuts, but under that red head, a plan was brewing. As soon as the bell rang, the little man was all over the giant, sticking to him like glue and stripping away his height advantage. To make matters worse, the giant had less strength than a small child. Realizing that the brute was helpless in close range, the short man began to execute his plan. Within seconds, the small fighter took down the giant without breaking a sweat. Size isn't always the deciding factor in a fight, and this video served as a perfect example of that.
There's the right hand. Oh, it's over. It's over.
Give us a like if you wouldn't like to be in the ring against monsters like this. Boxing Game was with you. Thanks for watching.